Okay, hello and welcome. So this is us. Hi, this is us post jump. We literally got back about an hour ago. We've had a little bit of food, and we thought we'd join you guys for a little debrief and just run down of our experience jumping out of a plane. So I'm going to let Alan go first because I think he's got probably quite the most interesting story.
A lot to see.
A lot to say. Take it away, Al.
I'm going to begin from the start of the day, from like waking up. So my sleep last night wasn't the best. It was a mix of anxiety and just being in like a different bed. It's just one of those things. So I woke up and like just kerfuffled, didn't know where I was. And then immediately, like once I started to wake up, it was like, fuck, today's the day.
That dawn of realization over
So
you.
I'm trying to roll a cigarette and I'm just like this, like, crinkling the paper. It's like, just relax, Al, relax, breathe. And so we all got ready, and just relaxing, chilling out. Went in the car, had my headphones on, and just zoning out, relaxing, just anticipating the worst, but just keeping myself relaxed. And all of a sudden, I get a airfield's by there. Oh, my
Was that the
stomach.
git sitting next to you in the back of the car by any chance?
It was, yes, this beautiful gentleman right by here. But yeah, man, fucking as soon as I saw the planes and everything, man, my stomach, everything, my heart just dropped. It just fucking just went whoom.
Oh, no.
I was sucked back down to reality.
Whereas I was completely different. I was pumped. I was excited. I couldn't wait to get in the jumpsuit, get in the plane.
Rich is literally jumping off his feet, man, just dancing.
I was bouncing. I was like a small child this morning. I was so excited. I was just like, oh my God, let me at it.
It was funny. Rich come into my room at like 7. He's like, oh, Al, time to wake up. What? He's like, yeah, let's go. Just piping full of energy. I'm like, fuck me, man. This man's already had his coffee, like. But no, fucking, yeah, you're like the antithesis of like just pure like excitement. And
it was quite polar opposites for us today, wasn't it?
It was.
The experiences were incredibly different.
It was quite funny because as soon as we parked up, I headed straight for the first bench and just put my head down on there, and I'm just like, oh no, what have I gotten myself into?
Where I was off talking very nicely to the lovely people at Skydive Buzz.
Oh yes, indeed,
they were amazing, and they cut us a really lovely deal when they found out what we were doing with the podcast. And so thank you to you guys. We've got some video footage turning up in the next week or two.
They were stunning, man.
As soon as we've edited that, we'll get the footage of. Well, there's footage of me jumping, isn't there? There's video footage of me jumping. We've got some stills of you jumping as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were really sweet. They put together an amazing package when they heard we were doing a podcast about mental health, trying to help other people, talking about anxiety. The guy was like, yeah, no worries, we'll do you a deal for that.
Oh.
So we're just going to do him a nice little shout out and just say thank you so much for that. It was so cool.
I'll get onto my experiences with all the different instructors as well, because they were all just lovely, man. Like fucking.
They were so chilled when they were so cool.
Reassuring as well, which is quite nice. And like,
apart from the point when my instructor said, "You do know this is my first jump, right?"
Yeah, there was banter, which is good fun.
Yeah, they were really good with it. But I think I made a point about this when we did that little short video earlier on. We've got a short that's going to come out as well. I'll edit that and get that out ASAP because I think it's quite an interesting little bit of information. But I was saying that men use like harsh or what might be perceived by somebody onlooking as maybe quite insulting or harsh or tough humour in some kind of way.
It's just poking fun,
that's how we deal with difficult situations sometimes.
Just gotta have a laugh, innit?
Yeah. High stress and kind of high demand on yourself. And I don't know. I personally find myself I deal with a lot of difficult situations with humor. Humor is a great vehicle for me. I can make fun of something and make it a little bit easier to deal with and almost make it a bit more palatable, I think,
To try and ease myself up to the day, I've been joking to all my friends and family. I was like, there's a small chance I could die, right? And like they're like, don't say that. I'm like, well, there's a chance I could die. So just like let you know I love you. I appreciate your time. And then if I die, at least come to my funeral.
Whereas I asked my partner if she was going to come to the airfield and watch, and she said, yeah, absolutely. I said, cool, can you take some video? She said, no, I'll be too busy holding your insurance papers, mate.
She's waiting for that dollar.
She's waiting for the dollar. I said, good luck, there's nothing in there.
But yeah, so we then go into the cafe where you've got to sign in and register. And I had a phone call from one of my best buddies, Dan, and I just couldn't even speak to him, man. Like all I could focus on was just
it
like
really kicked in for you then, didn't it?
It did,
Really, when
big
we got
time.
in there and when I was booking us in, I could see you.
I
at
was
the
like,
corner of
should we
my
do
eye. It was
7,000 instead of 10? Should we do 7 instead of 15? Come on, guys, let's do the shortest one. And like, oh man, you should have seen me. I was my head in my hands like this. I was just, fucking hell, like just. But yeah, Dan rung me and he's trying to have a conversation, like big me up and all. I was like, Dan, it's going like that, man. I'm not even, what's the word? Taking in what you're saying. Like I just racked with anxiety.
I mean, I was feeling anxious at that point, but for me, it wasn't like an out of control anxiety like you were feeling. For me, that feeling is what I now register as being normal. You know I was expecting to feel anxious. I knew when we got there I'd be feeling anxious, and certainly when you're on the edge of the plane about to go out, like that's real. Like the stomach's going because all your senses going, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Danger, 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 danger. But you gotta.
I think mine was just a build up of just pushing away that feeling for so long, and then obviously it'll just come real. But thankfully, we had enough time for me to calm down and just chill out. And the ladies were really lovely.
Well, I had a chance to have a bit of a chat with you and kind of level you out a bit and kind of bring you back down. We did a bit of grounding together, and we kind of had a bit of a chat. And then everybody else around you was just, I don't know, from what I saw, the staff, the instructors, the people there.
Yeah, and everyone else
lovely,
like us.
so lovely, yeah.
But yeah, the women were lovely as well because they said, look, because you're feeling a bit anxious, we'll give you like some time just to fucking chill out. So they put us on a later flight.
Yeah, the girls who booked us in, they said, oh, we won't put you on the first plane. We'll put you on the second or third one. So you got a bit of time to just settle into it a bit. And
excuse me, apologies. And then so we went then for our safety brief, and. It was kicking in even harder then. Like, I was looking around the room and everyone's like, "Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, but yeah," and I'm just like, when I say you're the instructor, I was just.
Al's face was like, "Oh my god!" But then
keep it together.
I think like when we got called to go into the offices to go and put the kind of all the gear on, the jumpsuit and the harness and all that stuff, like you seem to kind of relax a bit more at that point. Like when you seem to sort of like at that point you were like, okay, this is happening, I'm dealing with it, and you'd taken kind of charge of it. Do you know what I mean? You took control of it at that point, I think. And I
had a little plan. I thought whenever you try to push negative emotions away, they're always there. You can't push them away, so you need to feel them. And I thought, whilst I'm not in it or getting ready or anything like that, I'm just gonna have my moment just to mope around and just stress. But then that way, then there's no residual negative energy when I'm ready. So we got set up, and I set myself a plan. So whenever anxiety happens, you always got to remember stuff like positive reinforcement, positive mental attitude, and positive affirmations. So like we got dressed like in the jumpsuit and the thing, and the one gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he was quite a burly, tough man. But then he just got really soppy with me, just be like, yeah, man, like I was like this for the first time, and that made me feel good, him being able to like be vulnerable around me and just let me know.
You don't feel like you're on your own then either, do you? Do you know what I mean?
It was.
You feel like somebody actually understands what you're talking about, because it must have been quite confusing for you with like me and Matt being so excited and like, yeah, we're really up for this, and you're looking at us going, Jesus Christ, what the hell is wrong with you two lunatics?
But it was nice just to have someone to be vulnerable with me, just so I didn't feel alone, and it was very reassuring. And then I met Chris, my instructor, and he was lovely as well. And I just explained to him, look, I'm quite anxious, but I'm ready no matter what. And he was really supportive. So we had about 5 to 10 minutes then before we got on the plane, and I was like, you know what, this is my moment to just ground myself now. So I found somewhere nice, sat down, closed my eyes, and I just kept taking deep breaths in, deep breaths out, and going through my head, I just kept reminding myself, I am safe, I am free, and it was, I am safe, I am free, and I am calm. I am safe, I am free, I am calm. And so that I am safe is because I am. Nothing's going to happen, so I'm safe. I am free, so that's I am free in the sense of the fact that I can give this up at any point, at any time, and not follow through, even though I wasn't going to.
You have autonomy and you're able to own your own decisions.
That's what I mean.
It's so important to remind yourself of that. You're in control.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in control.
So by saying that I'm free, I'm allowing myself to know that I can still quit this if need be, even though I'm not going to. But you
mm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And then I am calm, because I just, you need to be calm.
I'm interested to know, like, we did that little exercise outside where we kind of did a little trick with the mind to minimize anxiety and used a bit of humor and stuff in there as well. I wonder whether that kind of helped you as well, just to minimize that anxiety, just to take it away from being so all-encompassing and all, because it is, when anxiety lands on you, it's like somebody's thrown like a net over you, isn't it? And you can't get out of the anxiety net. There's no way of getting that feeling out. And I think when you minimize it and you're able to take back control of your true self, your core of you, and realize that the anxiety is only a part of you, it's not all of you, then you're able to minimize it down. And then I think when you'd gotten yourself to that point, that was when you were able to kick in with the mantras like, I am safe, I am free,
I
and
think,
use all of that. So it was quite an interesting, from the outside looking in, it was quite an interesting exercise on watching you calm yourself down, manage the anxiety, deal with it, process it all, while still kind of being in the moment and able to experience it all. It was actually really, really interesting to watch all that going on with you today, Al. It really was, man. It was such an achievement for you. It really was such a huge achievement.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, man.
It wasn't immediately effective because, as you can watch the video, I did not want to be there at all. Like, you can see, just like I was not.
You can see how wound up Al is. Yeah, you can see how wound up you are.
But I went off after that, and I thought about what you said, and it was like, yeah, you know what, like fucking. Just gotta just slowly unravel myself and open.
Yeah, then when we got into the changing room, we were getting dressed up and that at the back of the offices. We got in the changing rooms there, and that was when, for me, I was like, right, okay, this is real. This is kicking in. The guy's putting the harness on me. He's tightening the straps up. He's winding me up, telling me things that aren't true just to have a laugh with me. And you know what I mean? The banter was flowing, and we were all giggling, and it was a real fun atmosphere, and everybody was buzzing, and it was so cool.
What was nice as well was the gentleman at what was his name? The main instructor. I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember either.
However,
I'm terrible with names.
He pulled me aside multiple times. He said, "Look, you have got the option to go up to 15,000." Because so Rich and everybody else went 15,000 feet. But
yeah, they offered us all an upgrade, and we took the upgrade. Me and Matt did because we're lunatics.
And he offered it to me, and he said, "Look, I'm not doing this for the money or commission or anything like that." He said, "Look, I've skydived for so long, and like the free fall is the best part. I don't want you to miss out. Are you sure you want to stick at 10?" And I said, "Look, I've set my personal mission now at 10, and I can't push myself. If I push myself, I think I might just go over the edge." And he was very respectful, and he said, "Look, if you do enjoy it, come back another time and we can work something out." So they were accommodating, they were really considerate about everything. Definitely. Like that was. Really,
I'd go back there for another skydive again, definitely,
100%.
And I would happily recommend Skydive Buzz to anybody. I'm not just saying that because it does a deal. I'm saying that because we had a great experience. Genuinely amazing experience.
There's been times where I've had a really good day, where I've been somewhere, but like the staff have put me off from going on again. Whereas when you doing something so scary and so frightening and such a huge event as that, it was lovely just to have people just to support you and just. And there.
Just to be sweet to you,
man.
Just to be sweet to you, to meet you on a human level and understand what you're about to do. And once they saw how anxious you were, they were just like all on it. They were like, "No, you'll be fine. Nothing to worry about. It's so good.
It was quite
really
mad.
enjoy it. You really enjoy it,
Because everyone else was confident, but then
it was
like
positive affirmations, wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
They were so good at that.
They all just took their time to come to me and just reassure me.
Because it quite easily could have been one of those experiences where you don't know what you're going to get. We'd never been there before. It could have been one of those experiences where you turn up and you've paid your money to jump.
Yeah.
And they're just like it's just like a conveyor belt, right? Next, clip, jump, go. Next, clip, jump, go. But they didn't. They made it an experience. They let us take time. They were happy for us to shoot some video there. They were happy to spend time chatting to us about the experience. They wanted to make sure you were going to enjoy it. They went out of their way when they didn't have to, and that really is a service that you
most definitely
you really want. That's amazing.
Like I was the last one to get on the plane as well. I think I must have made you guys wait about 2 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think so, something like that. But we were all kind of getting in anyway because it is a bit of a squeeze.
Yeah,
you're all sat on tight benches, all squashed up together. There's like 16 of you in a little Cessna plane.
But I was there. I was like, "I'm so sorry to make everyone wait." And he's like, "Fuck off." He's like, "Fucking just take your time. There's no rush." And so yeah, we'll get on to going on to the actual. Quickly before that as well. Sorry, I want to mention there was a gentleman who seemed just as nervous as me, and like it was a nice experience as well because he was jumping for the first time, and we were just
You were just chatting,
bigging each other up. Like, you know what, this is once a lifetime. You know, so something. You know what I mean? It was just nice. The environment was just so calm and reassuring, and like. Obviously, there's definitely like an anxiety in the air, but it was
expected,
overwhelmed by the positive energy. It was unreal.
So let's talk about the like. I mean,
Getting in the plane,
getting in a little plane and flying up. You know, taking off and all that. The takeoff was pretty good. It wasn't too bad. There was it was a little bit jumpy going up. You had a bit of turbulence and that, but it wasn't a horrible experience going up. I've had worse experiences in a bloody Ryanair plane. Do you know what I mean?
I have a phobia of flying, aeroplanes, and height. All three of those. So the day fucked me everything, which is ping, 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 alarms. But the plane, we got in, and it was a tight squeeze, I'm not going to lie. But something which was weird, but quite reassuring at the same time, is obviously you're strapped to someone. So even though we're in this small plane and it's wobbling and like you got these bumps and you're feeling a bit, and you look outside and the ground's just going, ooh, lower and lower. He's there doing the checks of you and he's strapping you up and all. And it's weird, man. It was quite comforting just to know that like there's someone trained and professional behind me. And then just also having that other body connected to you and you know you're going to fall with someone. As I say, it's a weird way to explain it, but it was just deeply reassuring. And like he's speaking in your ear, you know, and he's like reaffirming things and just letting you know what's going to happen. And all of a sudden, ding, red light comes on. Like this. He's like, right, doors open, flood of air just comes in. He's like, right, this is it. So go like that.
Almost across the chest, isn't it? Like
so the entire time on the plane ride, I was just looking outside the window, making sure I have a calm demeanor, even though everything was firing off in my head. If I remained calm outside, then do you know what?
This was 10,000 feet for you, wasn't it? You know,
yeah.
Which is no small feat.
Fuck no
small feat at all. I mean, considering what they pull the chute at 5,000, so you got 5,000 feet to fall through the air before the chute opens. So you had, I don't know, what, 20, 30 seconds of free fall time, something like that.
But yeah, so fucking on the inside I was shitting myself, but on the outside I just kept reminding myself, be calm, you are calm, you are safe, you are free. And just we got to the door and you got my head out of there, and before I could even think or fucking do anything, it was just holy shit, and you just go, man. And oh my days, I think I must have screamed for like a minute. Like we're going down and like you get the tap to put your arms up, be like it's such a surreal experience. It was fucking frightening, mind. Like I've never been so scared in my life. I've been in many different situations, but that is the most scariest thing I've ever done. But it was such a fucking...
Was it just terrifying? Was there anything else going on in there as well, you know?
The overwhelming feeling was just terrifying, but there was also like just the sense of awe of like, what the fuck, like what is happening? Like the way the air hits you and like you're like floating on the air, sort of like, it's all such a surreal experience.
You don't feel like you're falling, do you? Other than having the sensation of wind rushing across your face and you know the cold and all of that, I don't feel like I'm falling when I'm in that space. I feel like I'm floating. It's really strange because you haven't got...
I feel like I was floating on water. Do you know what I mean? You know when...
Yeah, because you're so far away from the ground, you don't have the sensation of the ground coming up at you. Like, you get that when you're a couple hundred feet off the floor and you're just coming in on the parachute at the end. You get that kind of ground coming up at you. But when you jump from 10 or 15,000 feet up, that's so high that you don't get that sense of anything rushing at you. So when you're out and you're on the air, you feel like a bird. It's so weird.
It was strange, man. I felt like I was like floating on the sea.
Yeah,
something like that, or like, it was frightening, man. But like it in a good way. Do you get me?
Like, I get you.
Like, I'm at a loss for words, as you can see. Like I'm still processing all this. But my God, just that feeling of just looking and just like there's nothing holding you back anymore. You just go in. It was liberating in a sense as well, because like fucking. I'm swearing like anything, man. It's just one of those things. just so surreal, man. And like
It's surreal sitting on the other side of it, isn't it?
it is.
You know,
And
it's
like
really surreal sitting on the other side of it.
he pulls the chute, and all of a sudden you just jolted up.
Yeah, you do. You
And
get a
like
big pull.
I think that was quite frightening as well. Mine was just like looking at the floor and you're floating, and like you can see your legs dangling.
You said you didn't like the parachute.
No, so that was more because I get motion sick, and
Okay.
it was because obviously you got jostled around for a minute as like the parachute is deploying and everything's being sorted. So you're like going this, you're turning, and when your center of balance and all that sort of just cuts off to make you feel a bit ill. But like
I didn't have any of that.
I was
We
looking
were
at the
doing
floor.
corkscrews coming down, like, you know. They give you the Did you have the training chute?
So he when he pulled the chute, he asked me if I'd like to do it, and I said again, this is why I'd go there again. I said to him, I'm not feeling the best. I feel sick. I'm quite frightened. I'd rather just glide. And he said in my ear quite calm. He said, right, we'll take it nice and easy. And in all fairness, he did. Whenever we took a turn, he did it nice and slow. You know, there was nothing harsh. Again, Chris was the guy I was strapped to, and all fairness, man, loveliest gentleman I've ever like been so close to. You know, like, but no, in all honesty,
It's
like
a vulnerable place for a man to have another man strapped to your back. And
It
You know
is.
what I mean? It is.
But-
You got to kind of like the guy who's behind you. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's a bit like. Oh,
But no, like obviously he understood the situation I was in, and within a second he was like, you know what, we're gonna take a nice route instead, and it was nice and relaxing. I was sick, and again that was just because of motion sickness.
Motion sickness. Yeah.
But it was just such a like weird and surreal experience. I think the parachute. I think what I didn't like was obviously when you're falling, you got that feeling on your stomach. I don't know, that's sort of reassuring, or the air like pushing you back up, even though you're falling. There's that.
You've got a connection. You feel like there's something pushing against you, don't you?
Yeah.
Because it is. Yeah.
But then when you're gliding, man, and your legs are hanging off, and you can see the floor, but you can't put your feet on there. Something in my head was just like, this is not right. Let's hit the floor. And quite frankly, all of this experience was very quick, so it was a lot to take in. And we come down, we hit the floor, got loads of embarrassing photos of me, and they unstrapped me. I was like, I need to lie down, guys. They said, go ahead. So I laid down for about 5-10 minutes with like my head in my arms. And the one guy comes up, he's like, listen, are you okay? Do you need any medical help? I was like, look, man, no, this is just a lot to take in. I just need to just lay down. So they said, not to be horrible, we need to move you, just obviously because other people are landing. I said, that's fair enough. Went into a safer area, led down, and I just soaked it all in, man. Fucking. What was nice as well was everyone was very reassuring. Like most of the what were they called again? Instructors come up and asked if I was okay and just how was the experience. Everyone was just sharing the experience. It was. It's funny, like the experience you have a falling is very individual, but then it was also a shared experience in a sense. Like you come down, Rich. I'm there, right? I'm still led on the floor, and I'm there just taking it all in, and all I hear is yeah, baby, yeah, like fucking Austin Powers.
It doesn't sound like anybody I know.
Like Austin Powers, man, like yeah, baby, but just probably like yelling, and I look up and I just see this shiny head come flying down like a beacon.
But when we went out of the plane, like, and they tell you like to scream to make sure you get your breath properly. It's actually quite a good little tip, because when you first jump out of the plane, the air is being pushed into your lungs, and you have to remember to breathe out. So what they say is when you first jump out, if you're struggling to breathe, scream. The first jump I did, I was a bit panicky for the first few seconds because nobody told me that, and I hadn't worked it out. So it was a bit like, what am I doing? I had to work out to breathe out and then let the air be forced back in. So when we jumped out this time, I thought to myself, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to scream.
Yeah.
So we jumped out and I went, woohoo! As we jumped out. I think my instructor knew that we were going to have a good jump, you know, because he was up for it. And I was dancing in the harness. We were rocking and rolling in midair. We were like giving it all. It was so much fun. I was buzzing. I loved it. I mean, you could see out to the channel. As we jumped in Honiton. You could see out over the south coast of England, the Channel. You could see out over the north coast of Devon and out over to the coast of South Wales.
The view was absolutely fucking stunning.
Absolutely stunning. We had a beautiful day. It was cloudy, but it was sunny. You know, it was lovely. It was really, really perfect.
Like apart from like our hands and ears getting cold, we were quite warm.
That was the worst part for me. That was the thing I was most distraught about. I wasn't bothered about falling through the air. The parachute was amazing as well. I love that feeling of gliding and floating, and You know, he had me pulling down on the straps and doing corkscrew turns in the middle of the air, and we were like, you know, so no, do the other way, go on the other side. So for me, that was the exhilarating, fun part. Was what I was really looking forward to. But the thing that really, really annoyed me was getting cold ears, and my ears were cold. It's like that was the most annoying thing. It's a sign of old age, that is. It's a sign of old age, mate. The worst thing about doing a parachute jump was having cold ears.
I think what was quite funny to hear is about where, like you said about screaming, was I was expecting him to say like, right, we're gonna jump, but no. Just as soon as I took a big, all of a sudden we're fucking falling, and it was holy shit. I think I went for the like holies and the H's just because I was like just breathing, and that's the first thing to come out. Because I had said to you, I planned, because there's a quote from Hudson, one of my all-time favorite movies, Aliens, and as they're going down, he says we're on an express elevator to hell going down, and he just says Yahoo. So I was gonna say that, man, but no, it was just holy shit and just fucking what the fuck. Oh. What was it like seeing me jump first, and then like what was everyone up?
Well, we watched the three guys. There was three solo guys went out before any of us, wasn't there? Because I think they were just paying jump guys who were regulars. They've got their licenses to jump solo, so they went out solo.
It's because I left first, then it was the three solos.
Yes, it was you left first, so we watched you go out first. It was kind of weird seeing your like your yellow suit and your legs just because you disappear out the plane door out the side, and the last thing you see of somebody is the soles of their shoes as they drop, because you go out of the plane and just drop straight away. So the last thing I saw was the sole of Alan's shoes go. I didn't hear anything else, and then we were looking out the window trying to see like, oh, where's Al? We were all trying to look at, couldn't see shit because you just dropped like a stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the three solo guys went, so we got to see the soles of their shoes as well. And then it was me, or then our cameraman, because I jumped with a video guy jumped out with us as well. And then me and my instructor. So the video guy climbs out of the cabin. He's hanging onto the grab rail on the side of the plane, like outside the door. And then he's waiting for me and my instructor to come on the door. So he's filming the whole thing while we're about to jump out. And just as we jump, he jumps like a fraction of a second before it. It seems like that. It's probably not. It's probably much safer than that. But he jumps out a fraction of a second before, so he captures the whole experience with cameras and, you know, still photos and videos. And it was just like, so I had him to focus on the way down. He's giving it all, you okay? You cool? You know, you enjoying it? It was like, yeah. So, yeah, the experience for me was very different. I think anxiety-wise for me, only really when I got to the edge of the door, because, you know, your instructor's standing up in the doorway and you're kind of kneeling down on the floor. So they're kind of standing behind you, crouched over the back of you, and you're kneeling down, and then you just kind of go out forwards. You know, you go forwards, and that's it, you're falling forward. So it's a very natural feeling, I think, for anybody standing on the edge of something, looking off, because me being me, they go, don't look down. What's the first thing I do?
Don't think of the pink elephant.
You know, don't think of the pink elephant, whatever you do. So yeah, no, I felt the anxiety then, and my stomach started to go, and I was a bit like, blub, 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 you know, and a bit like, that's typical for me. I get anxiety really badly in my stomach. That's how I experience it.
Same, I get a bit gassy and just like,
yeah, my stomach goes real churny, and then if I experience that for a long period of time, I get what I call like a tight stomach. Like my stomach feels like it ties up in a knot. That's more for like prolonged periods of anxiety, I think. But yeah, I was aware of my stomach going, something, looking over the edge, thinking, Jesus, this is a long way down, and every sense in my body is telling me not to do this. Like, don't do it. Danger, danger. Don't do it. But do you know what? It's that, like, for me, it's that fuck it attitude. You know, fuck it, I'm doing this. Fuck it, I'm going. And
well, like,
you know, it's just as soon as you've left the plane. Sorry, I'll own that. As soon as I'd left the plane, I had an incredible feeling of freedom, like the freest I've ever felt. Like you're not attached to anything, you're not holding on to anything. There's nothing supporting you. You are just free and flying, and that is.
I will say,
oh my God, the adrenaline rush is just wild. Like you are pumped. Every sense is like heightened to like as max.
I will say that even though I was terrified as when we were falling, and after holy shit, and we're still in free fall, I was like, oh my god, like it was such an insane feeling, but it was so terrifying at the same time. Like it was just. If you look at the weighing scales, right, everything was just balanced when it comes to like all my feelings. They were all equally as terrifying and as fucking amazing at the same time. It was fucking intense is the best word to say. A very intense experience, intense in all forms of the way. Your body is, your whole body, like everything just feels intense.
Yeah.
Your emotions, your
everything's
mind.
working at a hyper level, isn't it? Like
yeah,
a hyper level. Everything's hypersensitive, overdrive. It's all, you know.
But I tell you what, when you hit that ground, man, fuck me, like, oh, that's such a blissful feeling.
Well, that is the other feeling, isn't it? You know, and what you've done is you've just jumped out of a perfectly good plane for no other reason other than the hell of the thrill of doing it.
Isn't it?
Right? You know, you could have stayed on the plane and landed just like you would in a regular plane, you know, but it wouldn't have been anywhere near as fun.
Well,
that feeling of hitting the ground is like such a life-affirming feeling, you know? It's such a like... I've just essentially given myself up to the potential of dying, the possibility that I might die. I've just done something really stupid. I've just jumped out of a perfectly good plane and I might die. And then when you land on the ground again, you are like, oh my God, the sense of relief. Like you, like I don't know. I mean, my instructor unclipped me and I straight away rolled over and I kissed the ground because I was just like, oh, that is so good. That feels amazing to be back on firm ground again. But at the same time, I would have quite happily run across that airfield, got on the next plane, gone up and done it all over again. You know, I really would.
I was joking with one of the instructors because he was saying that obviously with all the safety measures, he's like, well, with this parachute, we got the main one. If that fails, we got the second one. I said, and then if that one don't work, we just got to go head first, make it fast, like painless. So I did have a bit of humor in there. It was just, I think you can just tell from.
Don't worry, we got the school kids at the back packing the parachutes and all that kind of
stuff.
Yeah,
man, with bricks.
With bricks, yeah.
But I'd made such a huge promise as well to everyone about doing the jump and like. The bigger promise to myself, really, about the fact that fucking...
Well, when we talked about this first, you really wanted to challenge yourself, didn't you?
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
And you've been up for the challenge right the way along, and you know, right the way through, you've been up for the challenge, and you, mate, I take my hat off to you because I saw your fear, I saw your anxiety,
it was palpable,
I knew how much you were putting yourself through, and I actually thought to myself, I was like, if Al backs out right now, I wouldn't blame him because I know how he feels right now. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt that level of anxiety, not in this kind of situation, different situations for me, but, you know, we're all different, aren't we, you know?
Yeah.
Different things trigger all of us. But I thought to myself, if he backs out, I wouldn't blame him. You know, I really wouldn't because I could see the fear that was coming over you. So I really, mate, I take my hat off to you and I applaud you for what you did today, brother. I really do because, oh my good God, like that is such an achievement and you need to be super proud of yourself for doing that, mate. It was wild. It was wild.
I think one of the biggest things that surprised me was how much like...
I'm just proud I'm still alive. Never mind anything else. But, you know, you should be proud for what you've achieved, you know?
Like, go back a couple of years, I never would have said yes to that. And if I did... I wouldn't even got the onesie on, you know. I would have quit by then. So I was so proud that I went through it, and not only that, like fucking, I kept myself calm. I surprised myself, man. I think that's the biggest thing I've taken away is that I've surprised myself with the capability of what I can do, and like
it just goes to show, doesn't it? You know, I think like if you're prepared to push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone,
that one a little.
I'm coming on to that. If you're prepared to push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone, you can achieve a lot. If you're prepared to push yourself a massive amount out of your comfort zone, like the amount you will achieve is like tenfold.
It's insane.
It's insane because the way Al's feeling now, you know, we had a chat in the car on the way back and all the rest of the way Al's feeling now is
I've been buzzing for like the past 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Since I still feel quite anxious. Like there's definitely like residual like anxiety left in my body, but I think that's just like built up tension, so you just gotta know to relax. So when this is over, I'm gonna go home and relax and just chill out. But most definitely the main feeling is just joy and just like you get me? Like I don't know the best way to describe it. It's just
joy
and just like
absolutely.
a sense of pride as well. Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah, you should. You should.
walk around with my chest out now. Like, yeah, man.
But as well, we want to
Jumped
say
out
a
of the plane.
massive thank you to everybody who donated to us.
Yes, thank you so much,
Thank you
man.
so much for your
Honest to
donations.
God.
It means a great deal to us. We've raised nearly 1,200 quid for the Mental Health Foundation.
Also, if you're wondering why I'm not wearing mine, it's because it's got spew all over it.
Thank you for sharing that, Al.
But yeah, no, like the support has been overwhelming, man. It's insane.
It has. Yeah, the support from everybody has been overwhelming. Right from the get-go, from the start, right the way through to all the guys at the airfield, and everybody at Skydive Buzz today were amazing. So we're really we're with them a debt of gratitude, for that.
But like between the three of us, we'd raised just shy of £1,200, man. Like. We've still got 48 hours as well to raise a little bit more.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, if you haven't donated and you're watching this video and you would like to donate to us, I will put a link to our Just Giving page in the comments section.
Yeah, man. And just see if we can bump it up a bit more.
Or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Get it over that 1,200
Even if it's only
mark.
£1 you can give us, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Anything.
We really would. So, yeah, I think that leads us nicely into a little close, mate, doesn't it? I think we've... time to wrap up. Anything else you want to add?
Just the final message would just to be, no matter how you feel or what you're feeling, just always remind yourself to stay positive and just look at the positive side of things. I think that's the most powerful thing to take away from today. Because if I kept feeding into my anxiety and feeding into my negative emotions, I would not have got on that plane.
No.
But obviously, when it got time to get going and to get real, take that 5-10 minutes. As uncomfortable as it feels and as uncomfortable you feel, just you got to keep reminding yourself over and over until that deed is done. Just remind yourself, man, to stay positive. And I swear down, man, you can do anything. Like
I think you could apply that to any situation, couldn't you?
Most definitely.
You could apply that to anything. And if Alan can learn to control himself on his own without much help, I haven't really haven't really done too much with you. We had a little chat, but
literally the video, and that was it.
Was
you
it?
just left
Yeah.
me to my own.
I mean, I said to you, if you want to chat, I'm here. And other than that, I didn't want to kind of intrude on you because I knew you were trying to manage things on your own. And I think it's important to let somebody do that if that's what they want.
I was thankful for the support as well. And like to be able to have you there. It was just, it's one of those things you got to do yourself.
But my point about that being is that you did that on your own. With very little help from anybody else. And if you can learn to control your mad and at times physically debilitating in the past, your anxiety has been, you've told me. Yeah. If you can learn to control that on your own to the point where you can allow yourself to face one of your greatest fears, then fuck me, anybody's capable of anything.
Fucking right. I wouldn't go back a couple of years. I couldn't get on a bus or go out in the public. But now, fuck me, I jumped out of a fucking plane.
That is quite an achievement, isn't it?
It is.
And on that note,
much love, guys. You stay safe.
Thank you very much. As always, don't forget to follow us if you're not already. Hit the subscribe button. You can visit us at Instagram. We are human.being.mental.
Yes.
And our website is www.humanbeingmental.co.uk. And you'll find all the links to podcast sites and other useful information, bits and pieces up there as well.
Yeah, man. We're also going to be posting all the links on our Instagram very shortly as well.
Yeah, so we've got a bit of content coming up as well. Just got to edit it all, wait for our videos to come through from Skyline and all the rest of it. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, everybody.
Much love.
Take care.